Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G-Lauren33. I am back here today with another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast, here with your SmackDown review for June 19th, 2020. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. Hope everyone's doing fine. Another day, another podcast, man. We have been absolutely grinding. Thank you guys for all the love and support. It's been a crazy week, and just the last week alone, man, videos every single day. Last Friday we had the SmackDown review. On Sunday we had Backlash. On Monday we had the Raw review, which I would say is probably the best podcast of the year so far. I went off on Raw last Monday. We also had a extra podcast segment on Tuesday where I went off on Charlotte Flair calling Sasha Banks entitled. Go check that rant. Wednesday we had the NXT review with Sasha Banks and Bayley going back to NXT to defend the tag team titles against Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, which was a very good match in the main event of NXT. And now we're back here with a SmackDown review. So the grind doesn't stop. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe and click the bell right next to my name, FitzMonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I want to say thank you also to everyone who listens to the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys listen to your podcast, man. I want to thank you guys for all the love and support. We have been absolutely grinding, and we're going to keep grinding. The road to Extreme Rules continued tonight. We had SmackDown, and this was not a bad show. I think, what is this? I would say 3-4 weeks of, I would say, decent shows. I'm not going to say these are amazing shows, but I'll say SmackDown's been better than Raw last month. It definitely has, with Sasha Banks and Bayley. We had the Bray Wyatt return. We had Matt Riddle making his debut tonight in a really good match with A.J Styles. And those were the big things. We also had Jeff Hardy and Sheamus continuing their program. We also had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville continuing their program as well. And we'll talk about all that on tonight's pod. So if you guys have been missing out, make sure to go check out all of the other podcasts we've been putting out this week. Also, man, thank you to everyone who live tweeted with me tonight. You guys know I love live tweeting with you guys about everything going on. So if you guys want to, just follow me on social media. My Twitter, at G-Lauren33, in the description box if you guys are watching on YouTube. GLORIN 33 for those listening on different podcast platforms. So let's get into SmackDown tonight. Let's not waste any time. So the show opened up with the championship coronation of A.J Styles, the new Intercontinental Champion. If you guys remember last week, we talked about it on last week's SmackDown review. A.J Styles and Daniel Bryan put on an absolute instant classic. Went close to 40 minutes. The only problem I had with the match was there was 4 commercial breaks. That was it. Other than that, I loved the match. You know, I've been debating with myself most of the week what was better, Edge versus Randy Orton or AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, and I really can't come to a conclusion. I know eventually, once we get to the end of the year, we'll make a decision on that, but it was an instant classic. We knew it was going to be good. AJ and Daniel Bryan just have fantastic chemistry in the ring together, and they showed that last week by giving us one of the best matches of the year, easily. Like I said, it could have gone either way. I wouldn't have mind Daniel or AJ winning the championship. You know, they got in with AJ, and there's no complaints. You guys know AJ and Daniel Bryan are 2 of my favorite wrestlers on the main roster. Love them. So Renee Young is in the ring, and they had the entire, or nearly the entire, male SmackDown roster at ringside. They had Chad Gable, The New Day, Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, They also had some other names out there as well. And AJ came out, and right away, AJ didn't waste any time. Of course, AJ being a fantastic heel, gloating about how he's the greatest champion in WWE history, which you can actually make an argument for that. AJ, in all his title reigns, he's been booked well and he's been a great champion. So there's definitely going to be people that believe that AJ is one of the greatest champions of all time. He's definitely up there. Just so many names to think of. It's really subjective, so I'm not gonna get into that debate. You guys know I love AJ Styles. It's just a really hard debate to have. But anyway, AJ comes out and he gloats about himself, talks about how he's not the same champion as Daniel Bryan. He does things differently. And before he has the belt put around his waist, which either way, it was kind of dumb, because you had AJ win the championship last week. He was at Backlash. At Backlash, he announced that, they were doing this championship celebration on SmackDown. But the thing that doesn't make sense is he already had the title for a week. Why did we have to do a whole, put the championship around his waist? He won the title last week. He did a photo shoot. He was at Backlash with the title on his shoulder. So it didn't really make sense. It would have made more sense, just for AJ to come out with the title already around his waist. But, it's whatever. I'm just nitpicking a little bit. Let's leave it at that. But AJ, Renee Young was originally going to put the title around his waist, but instead AJ says, "You're not deserving of it." And he clarifies this by saying the only person that's qualified to put the title around his waist is Daniel Bryan. And I'm just thinking, did I say clarified? It's qualified. My bad. I don't know why I'm jumbling my words together. But he said that Daniel Bryan's the only person qualified to put the title around his waist. And then he asks Daniel Bryan to come into the ring. So Bryan comes into the ring. And then AJ goes on saying that Bryan needs to put the title around his waist. Also needs to say congratulations. So about after 2 or 3 minutes of them going back and forth, Bryan finally decides to do it, and he congratulates AJ. AJ gets a little mad because he thinks Bryan didn't put enough emotion into it. So then Bryan grabs the microphone and then he says congratulations. AJ then says that Bryan's at the back of the line for the IC title, and Bryan says that's fine. I'll earn my way back up there. But, if you're looking at people who are deserving to be at the front of the line for the IC title, look no further than Drew Gulak. They did, remember, about 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, Gulak did pin AJ in a one-on-one match. And it was announced later on the show that next week on SmackDown, we will be getting AJ versus Drew Gulak for the IC title. Alright? So AJ's first official defense. I don't expect AJ to lose the championship, but it should be a really good match. There's a whole locker room full of great IC title matches that they can do with AJ. But Bryan wanted Drew Gulak to get the shot tonight. Styles said no, But then Matt Riddle came out. It was advertised, the last couple of weeks that Riddle would be making his debut tonight. But earlier today, people were concerned because some female came out making all these allegations about Matt Riddle, saying he sexually assaulted her, all this nonsense. And you guys know, WWE always seems to have one of these superstars in some kind of mess. We've seen it with freaking Enzo. We've seen it with Jordan Devlin. It's like every couple of months, some superstar gets accused of some kind of sexual allegations, and most of the time they're false. So right now, I'm doing the whole innocent till proven guilty, because we see this happen to athletes all the times, and most of the times the allegations are not true. It's just somebody that's trying to get money or trying to ruin someone's public name for something that's not true. And then Matt Riddle's attorney came out earlier today and saying that this female who made the allegations has been attacking Riddle and his family now for years. So there's no truth to this. We'll just have to let the situation handle himself. Alright, we have no idea. I don't think Matt did anything. If he did, we'll find that out and we'll see what happens when the time comes. But until then, innocent till proven guilty. Not going to waste any time on that. But because of the allegations, there was a lot of people that were concerned that Riddle was not going to be on SmackDown tonight, because they stopped making the advertised for his debut. So I don't know if WWE just stopped advertising him at the last minute. I know with everything going on with the coronavirus, you guys definitely had heard the report that somebody at the PC did test positive for the coronavirus, and they tested everybody for the virus this week. So I don't know when the show was taped. So I don't know if WWE was planning on not having Riddle make his debut, because I don't think the show was live tonight. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Either way, if you guys seen here, Riddle came out and it was electric, and basically the whole point, Riddle introduced himself to Styles, and Styles says, "What are you doing here? I'm the face that runs the place." And then Riddle's like, "That's cool, but I'm just here to let you know that I'm gonna be the bro that runs the show." So I don't know. WWE's always coming up with these corny nicknames, like face that runs the place, champ that runs the camp, bro that runs the show. Kind of corny. But eventually Styles got tired of Riddle talking, and then he bashed Riddle in the face. The two start brawling, and then Styles is on the outside of the ring, and he calls for a referee. So we come back from commercial break, and we have Styles versus Matt Riddle, which I'm very excited about, but I also have a problem with this at the same time. Matt Riddle's first match on SmackDown. Right, first off, before we get into anything, they tried to announce it as an Intercontinental Championship match, but Styles, being a great heel, grabs the mic right away and says, "Hell no, this ain't no IC title match, alright? You don't get to come out here with your flip-flops and get a title shot like that on your first night, alright?" But I have two problems with this. One, I'll take Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles any day of the week. That is a WrestleMania world title worthy match. AJ is one of the best in the world. Riddle is fantastic at what he does. But why are we getting this on free TV? I said this on Twitter. You're telling me WWE couldn't build up the Riddle and Styles? What I would have done is I would have had Riddle build momentum, win every single week, and then build for Riddle and Styles at SummerSlam. Imagine Riddle and Styles at SummerSlam. You want to make SummerSlam a WrestleMania worthy card? Styles and Riddle should be on that card. I don't know why on Riddle's first night, his debut match on SmackDown, he is in the ring with AJ Styles. Like, it feels like WWE is just giving away a dream match, just for no reason. The match was great. It was fantastic. They were given time, and it was a chance for Riddle to introduce himself to, those who don't watch NXT and let people know how great he is. And my second problem with this match, I'll talk about in just a moment, because it involves the ending. But, The match was great. They had really good chemistry, even though this was probably their first match together. I love Riddle's MMA background coming into play with Styles' technician work. It was great stuff. But we come back and we see Riddle. Styles was in control, and then we see Bryan trying to give some advice to Riddle. So then AJ sees this and he gets angry. He's like, hey, this is my match. You don't get to, butt your head and give advice to the rookie. So he heads to the outside of the ring and he shoves Daniel Bryan. He's like, stay out of my business, But then he gets right back into the ring. He goes for a phenomenal forearm, but Riddle countered it beautifully into a Bro Derek for the win. 1, 2, 3. So Riddle has a successful debut, knocking off the IC champion. And most of the SmackDown, the baby faces, of course, they come in the ring and they're celebrating with Riddle. Remember, we are getting AJ versus Gulak next week. I don't know if WWE's planning a championship match, maybe Extreme Rules for Gulak and Styles. It just seems too early. Like I said, they should have saved it for SummerSlam. And here's the thing. You had AJ versus Daniel Bryan last week in a instant classic. An amazing match. Maybe even match of the year so far with Bryan and Styles. You're telling me the 1 week after that, your new Intercontinental Champion is losing clean on television? He just won the title last week. I understand it's Matt Riddle's debut, but this is why you don't book Matt Riddle and AJ Styles in his debut. It's common sense. He's the champion. Yes, we all know how good Matt Riddle is. And it looked like WWE's already teased Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin, because there was a moment where Styles throws Matt Riddle outside the ring, and then he collided with Baron Corbin. Corbin and Riddle started butting heads. But I don't want to see Riddle versus Corbin. But they're going to use Corbin just to build Riddle up, which is whatever at the end of the day. Even though I'm not interested in the match whatsoever. But if you wanted to have Matt Riddle have an impressive debut, you could have put him up against any of the other heels on the roster. Hell, you could have put Matt Riddle up against Daniel Bryan and had Riddle win clean. That would have been fine. It's the fact that AJ's your champion. I have a problem with this. Why is WWE always having the champions lose? Why does a number one contender have to be established by the champion getting pinned? Like, I'm fine with Drew Gulak versus Styles next week for the title, because Gulak earned that opportunity before Styles was even champion. But Riddle on his first night beating Styles, who just won the IC Championship last week? I don't know, WWE, I don't know where they get it in their head. You don't have your champions lose. The only time your champion should be losing is when it's time for them to give up their title to the next person. It's that simple. What kind of nonsense is this, man? Come on. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this whole situation. Will Gulak get, that championship push? I think it's a little bit early. Like, I would have waited till SummerSlam. We'll just have to wait and see. But I expect Styles to retain against Gulak next week. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Will Riddle get involved? We'll just see. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. One thing I've also noticed is WWE's doing a lot of title matches. We just had Backlash last Sunday. But we've seen Sasha Banks and Bayley defend the titles for, 3 times in 8 days. And we have, 3 championship matches this Monday on Raw. We have now the SmackDown tag titles be defended. A lot of stuff is going on. I don't know what's with WWE doing all these championship matches, but hey, I don't know. But moving on, we had a Alright, so we had a backstage interview with Renee Young. She was interviewing Jeff Hardy, and, you know, I kind of tuned out to this. Sheamus and Hardy, I'm kind of done with that feud. I don't really care as much anymore. You had the match at Backlash, and it was pretty good, but I've kind of gotten tired of WWE just relying so much on this whole Jeff Hardy redemption story. I'm not really feeling it anymore. I think WWE kind of overdid it a little bit. Of course, with the piss test last week, basically just being a rehash of a segment they did with Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon, and Shane McMahon back in 2006. I'm kind of over it. You know, you did the match. I would think they would move these two to different feuds now, new stories, but it seems like WWE wants to continue this. Most likely, I could definitely see Hardy and Sheamus doing some kind of match at Extreme Rules, but I'm kind of out on this. I'm kind of done. Hardy did a interview, and basically it was him just basically talking about how, yes, he's an alcoholic, he's a junkie, he's made mistakes in the past, but he's trying every day to be better for himself and his family. You know, we've basically seen Hardy say the same thing now for the last couple of weeks. It's kind of being rinse and repeat. Like, I'm not feeling it anymore. And basically he said Sheamus was just a bully, and no matter what he does, he will get over anything Sheamus throws at him, and he's going to do his best to get better and redeem himself. It was nothing we haven't heard, or we haven't, heard from Hardy in the last couple weeks. Like, I'm kind of out on this story. I'm kind of done with it, If they have another match at Extreme Rules, it'll probably be good. Like, their match at Backlash was good, but I'm kind of done with it. I just don't care. I feel like WWE's just pushed this redemption story on us too much. I'm just like, not feeling it no more. Just not feeling it. But they also had Sheamus do a backstage interview, and I am noticing we're seeing a lot more of Renee Young. I love Renee Young. I love her, but it seems like Renee Young is now the head backstage interviewer on SmackDown, and while Charlie Caruso's on Raw. That's just something I noticed. Anyway, but they had Kayla Braxton, the other SmackDown interviewer. She interviewed Sheamus, and Sheamus says, I don't care if I'm a bully. I love it, because he said junkies like Jeff Hardy deserve that kind of treatment. And they announced that next week on SmackDown, Sheamus will do some kind of toast. I don't really care. I don't think you guys care either. Like I said, Sheamus is great. I would love to see Sheamus built up. You're not going to have Sheamus in the IC title picture right now because Styles is a heel. I don't know, maybe you can build Sheamus up to be in the main event. He was once a main event player. He's a multiple time world champion. So maybe it's time for Sheamus to be put back in the main event scene. I don't know. But I'm just kind of done with this whole Sheamus and Hardy storyline. It's run its course for me. But they are doing a toast next week. Sheamus will be toasting Jeff Hardy. Whatever. I don't really care. Also, we had Shorty G. He was interviewed backstage before a match with Mojo Rawley. And you guys know I'm not really in on the whole Shorty G thing. I wish they would just call him Chad Gable. It's just I really want to know what Chad Gable actually thinks when he has to go perform under the ring name Shorty G. I really wonder what goes through his mind. If it bothers him, if he likes the character, I don't know. And it was also announced earlier this week that Mustafa Ali was being moved over to Raw. So maybe we'll finally see Mustafa Ali again. I would love to see Mustafa Ali in the United States title picture. I feel like he would be really good. We could see some really good matches with Ali against Cruz, Kevin Owens, Garza, Theory, Andrade, Buddy Murphy. Like, we haven't seen Ali on SmackDown all year. And it was rumored that Ali was the hacker, which he was, that's the reason why WWE's moving him over to Raw. So I don't know why WWE is, trying to hide who the hacker is. Legit, somebody on Twitter decoded the text, the hacker audio, and you could clearly see that was Mustafa Ali doing the vocals. It sounded just like him. So I don't know why WWE is hiding the storyline. I don't know if that means WWE's going to be dropping the hacker storyline. I hope it doesn't, because I thought there was going to be some really cool things they could do with that. But we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe they'll have somebody else take over the storyline, because it's really almost anybody can do it. They put like a huge reverb on the voice, so we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes. It was also announced that Dolph Ziggler had been moved over to Raw, and that was because, if you guys remember, AJ was traded to SmackDown back when the IC title tournament started. So, we all knew at the time WWE had just made it up for a way for Styles to be put on SmackDown. And Dolph Ziggler being traded for AJ Styles, if you're talking about ring ability, they're on the same level, but Ziggler's never been looked at as a superstar because WWE's never pushed Ziggler correctly. It felt like WWE just picked like a random name, who's somebody that's a really good performer, but we don't really give a shit about, so we can just say they're traded to Monday Night Raw. Who was it? Dolph Ziggler. So I don't know if Bobby Roode will be going over there with him. I know that Bobby Roode, the reason why we haven't seen him on TV since before the pandemic is because he lives in Canada. So, I don't know. Maybe Roode and Ziggler, they're actually a okay tag team. And you need tag teams more than ever. So, I don't know. But we'll just see where that goes. I don't really care about Ziggler being on Raw. He's not going to be booked correctly anyway. So, yeah. Ziggler's like the Miz. Always switching brands. And no one gives a crap. Anyway, but back to Shorty G. I went on a little bit of a sidetrack talk about Ali and Ziggler, but Shorty G was interviewed before his match with Mojo Rawley, and Mojo creeped behind him and started making fun of his height, but then Gable said, "I have eyes in the back of my head," and punched Rawley in the face. I didn't watch this match. This was a piss break because I don't care. I know that Gable won with a roll-up. It looks like Gable has a string of victories. So maybe that will put him in line to potentially challenge Styles at some point in the next couple months, which I think that could be a cool little match, something to get Gable over. I told you guys months ago that Gable would be a good piece to use in that division. Next up, we had SMiz TV. SMiz TV with John Morrison and The Miz, and the special guest was Mandy Rose. And before Mandy Rose came out, Miz and Morrison wanted to explain what happened at Backlash in that match with Braun Strowman that nobody gave a crap about. Miz said that he got caught up in the moment, and that was mostly because right before their match, it was announced that instead of being, if Miz and Morrison won, they would be co-Universal Champions. Only the person that pinned Strowman would be the sole Universal Champion. So it threw them off their game. Morrison was being funny, saying this was a violation of the rules. You never change the rules before a big title match. You don't do it in the finals. You don't do it in World Series. You don't do it in the Super Bowl. And I like Morrison. He has really good charisma. Him and Miz, they can be funny together. But JD tweeted out how he wished we were getting Lucha Underground Morrison, which would be fantastic. I kind of wish Morrison was more in a heel singles role, but I don't mind him and Miz, really. But clearly, Morrison, I feel like he could be booked a lot better. Like, he has everything. He has the look, he has the in-ring ability, he has the charisma. He can talk on the mic. Like, I kind of wish, he was placed in a better position on the show. I don't know if that's what Morrison wants. I don't know if Morrison's enjoying what he's doing right now, but whatever. But they talked about Otis a little bit. Otis was not on the show. Well, Otis was on the show. He was at ringside for Riddle versus Styles, but he didn't do anything else on the show. Him and Tucker didn't do anything. But they had his girlfriend Mandy come out. Mandy, you can tell she's been using the body spray and all that. She was glistening tonight. Basically, Miz and Morrison being the heels, Mandy being the babyface. They blame Mandy for everything that happened between Sonya Deville, and that Mandy was right about to leave, but Miz then apologized and said that they had a special guest surprise. And then, of course, Sonya came out. Sonya, I know she's like a big advocate for Pride Month and all that stuff, because she is a lesbian, but she looked kind of nice. She was wearing a full-blown three-piece suit, full black. It was kind of nice, I'm not gonna lie. She could be a really good businesswoman. But like I said, I've really liked the intensity that Sonya Deville has been showing since she split up by Mandy. She came out and basically Mandy wanted to know, why Sonya's so obsessed with this. Mandy's trying to move on with her career, but Sonya, won't let it die. And Sonya said, I've already moved on, but the thing that bothers me is, look at me and look at you. Why does Mandy get all the opportunities? She noted that she was advertised for SmackDown tonight, and Sonya had nothing to do with it. If Sonya said if Miz hadn't invited her on the show, she would just be in catering, twiddling her thumbs. And it pisses her off because she believes that she's superior to Mandy in every which way. And she's done letting Mandy steal all her opportunities. So, I love the intensity and the fire. Mandy said, all you are is a fighter. You don't have anything else. And I'm done with dealing with you. I'm not going to let you try to bring me down. I have people that stand by me, people that support me, and that's all that matters. So, Mandy and Sonya start brawling. I love the intensity between these two. Love it. Miz and Morrison are enjoying it, laughing at everything going on. They try not to get involved, but there was a point where Sonya used Miz as a shield so that she could escape up being the heel. Miz then kept moving, blocking Mandy from getting to Sonya, trying to act like he wasn't trying to do anything, but we all knew what he was doing. Then Mandy slapped Miz in the face. That's how the segment ends. So, Mandy and Sonya is continuing. I don't know if I want to see a match between the two at Extreme Rules. I'm fine with their feud continuing, even though Sonya's had the upper hand the entire feud. Sonya defeated Mandy, I think it was a month ago on SmackDown. Then they won that mixed tag team match when it was Sonya and Dolph against Mandy and Otis. Clearly they're not going to do that again with Dolph on Raw now, but I don't know. But Sonya's not satisfied because she said Sonya had a really good line here. She said she's gonna destroy Mandy every single week till her outside looks like her insides, which was kind of wow. She plans to beat the crap out of Mandy so she doesn't look pretty anymore and won't get those opportunities. So I love the intensity out of Sonya. I see a star in her. I would love to see Sonya feud with Sasha Banks once Sasha eventually becomes SmackDown Women's Champion and turns babyface again. But we'll talk about Sasha in just a couple moments. But, looks like we're getting another match between Sonya and Mandy. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe something for the Extreme Rules pre-show. I just don't see them fitting onto the main card. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't mind it really, but I expect Mandy to get the win just because Sonya's had the upper hand all these weeks. So that's about that. What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back here to the Legit Soup Podcast, and we have the best guest we could ever ask for. She is the legit boss, the blueprint, the standard, the greatest female wrestler of all time, the one, the only Mercedes Varnado, aka Sasha Banks, is here. Sasha, thank you so much for joining us. What's going on?
Hi George, how are you? I hope your day is going well. Thank you so much for the request and the questions.
No problem, Sasha, but before we let you go, I have two quick questions that I'm dying to ask. Alright, I gotta hear your answer to these. I'm gonna make it tough on you. Outside of Bayley, because I know she's your BFF and you've said so many times how she's the best match you've ever had. Outside of Bayley, what are your favorite matches that you've had so far in your WWE career? And question number 2, you have so many great ring gears. What is your favorite ring gear out of the million that you've had so far in your WWE career?
That is super hard. You know Bayley is my favorite
of
all time. But my favorite matches besides with her definitely has to be my Hell in a Cell against Becky.
That was the best female.
That match was just insane and changed my
best
life
female
forever.
Wrestling match of the whole year.
I can't believe that match. I'm really proud of that match. Who else? Let me try to think of someone who's not Becky or Bayley. I've had some really good ones with Ruby. I love working with her. I like Ruby, Ember. I like that triple threat we did.
Wish we could see more of that.
What else can I remember? The one from Boston with Nia. That's one of my favorite matches.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind. I'm just thinking. I'm sorry.
You gave us a lot of answers.
That's a lot of answers. I gave you an answer. So, no, those are my answers. And my favorite ring gear ever.
I can't wait to hear this.
Probably Wonder Woman.
Royal Rumble.
Of course, my Eddie Guerrero one.
Yep. WrestleMania 32.
From recently, I really love the
the red and blue one, yes.
Clash of Champions.
Yep.
Gear that
love
I
that
have,
one.
The navy one and red and gold. So that's my favorite ones. Thank you so much for this question.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful you're a fan, George. So thank you so much for sending this to me. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you stay safe
for joining
and well.
us, man.
And thank you so much for being a fan. Bye.
Huge shout out to Sasha Banks for joining us here on the Legit Shoot podcast, man. The #1 wrestling podcast on YouTube, because we tell it how it is like nobody else does. So make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new, man. Peace. You guys know when I play that clip, it's time to talk about the best female wrestler in the world. Yes, Sasha Banks, baby. So let's talk about her. So you guys know Sasha and Bayley have been on an absolute tear. They've been on a tear since Money in the Bank. They haven't lost a match. Sasha's won 5 matches in a row. Like, Sasha's not been this successful since, I would say, when she first came up to the main roster back in 2015. Like, she's on a roll, and they deserve it. Sasha's only had 2 singles victories all year. Like, and then people on Twitter tonight were talking about how Charlotte, called Sasha Banks entitled, which if you guys haven't checked out my rant this week, make sure to go check out that video. That was, things had to be said in that. I'm not going to repeat them here. Just go watch the Charlotte Flair rant video I put out. But people were like, people complain when Charlotte's on all 3 shows, but we get Sasha every single week. We've seen Sasha on SmackDown, Backlash on Sunday, Raw on Monday, NXT on Wednesday, Friday Night SmackDown tonight, and we're going to see Sasha and Bayley again defending those titles against the Iconics, or the Moronics, or the Idiotics on Monday Night Raw on Championship Monday, which they're advertising it as. And I'm terrified about Monday, but I'm hoping that they don't lose. Hoping that WWE has some common sense. Because Sasha and Bayley, what they've been doing with the tag titles, in the last 2 weeks, they have made the tag titles more relevant than they've ever been in the year and a half since their inception. I always say this every single week. When the Iconics took those titles off Sasha Banks and Bayley at WrestleMania 35, it killed those titles. And Sasha Banks and Bayley have been bringing those titles back to prestige since winning them on SmackDown a couple weeks back. And since they're the women's tag team champions, they can go on all 3 brands. And here's the difference between Charlotte and Sasha, you Charlotte idiots. Alright? I really don't understand how you can be a Charlotte fan. I really don't. Anyway, here's the difference. Sasha Banks and Bayley, when they go on NXT, when they go on Raw, when they go on any show, they elevate those titles. They elevate that show. They make that show better and more enjoyable to watch. When Charlotte is on another show, I want to grab my TV remote and bash myself in the head. Charlotte is overpushed. She is the most selfish female superstar in WWE history. She's always in the title picture. Like, come on. When Charlotte's on another show, she's trying to go after another title. She doesn't make the show better. Remember when Charlotte was on SmackDown and she said people want more Charlotte Flair? Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. I don't want more Charlotte Flair. I want less Charlotte Flair. I want more Sasha. I want more Bayley. Because Sasha Banks and Bayley are the best at what they're doing. And they're making the shows better. They're making the women's division better. When Charlotte was on NXT, she didn't elevate Tegan Nox or Shotzi Blackheart. She didn't elevate Io Shirai or Chelsea Green or Mia Yim or Rhea Ripley. But Sasha Banks and Bayley on NXT, they elevated Io Shirai. They elevated Tegan Nox. They elevated Shotzi Blackheart. Those 2 ladies have never looked as good as they did on Wednesday. And that's because that's a credit to how good Sasha Banks and Bayley are. So, yes, even though there's really no need for us to see Sasha and Bayley 4 times in 1 week, because then you're going to get fatigued. But the thing about it is, it's Sasha Banks and Bayley. I'll never get fatigued of Sasha. But I can understand a little bit. But the thing about it is, it's not like they're putting them on the show to do bad things. When they're on the show, they make the show better. They make the women's division better. There's a reason why they call themselves the role model and the blueprint. Because it's true. Like, come on. And clearly, when Sasha and Bayley lose those tag team titles, we won't see them on as much. But I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks. Use those tag team titles to cause tension between Sasha Banks and Bayley. And when the time comes, if SummerSlam is able to take place in Boston, if we can have it in front of a live audience, not just some performance center crowd, but actual fans, because I have a ticket to SummerSlam, even though it might get canceled or whatever. If it can take place in September, do it, WWE. Do it. Take it. Come on. The only way Sasha Banks and Bayley should lose those titles if WWE is ready to pull the plug and start the feud. Like, come on. It's that simple. If you're not ready to do Sasha Banks and Bayley yet, because you know you can't have a live audience yet in time for SummerSlam, delay it. Delay it. Sasha and Bayley should not be losing those tag team titles until it's time for their feud to begin. Because with those tag team titles on them, it makes the tag team titles actually feel like championships. When those titles are on any other team, it feels like props. And for some of you guys hear me say this every single week, but it's the truth. Because I have to keep reminding you of. Because human nature, sometimes you guys forget to use your smarts. Sasha Banks and Bayley are the best thing for those women's tag team titles right now. And they keep proving it. They proved it all week. Am I concerned about this Monday on Raw with the Iconics? Hell yeah. You haven't built the Iconics up to take those titles. And the Iconics aren't good. The Iconics suck. And this role that Sasha Banks and Bayley are, it's rare. Because when do we ever get to see Sasha have this much success on the main roster? Never. And I'm concerned. It's all going to come to a halt. And even though you can see they did build a little more tension with Sasha and Bayley, it's slow, but you guys can see the tension slowly building. But I'm just hoping that WWE knows what they're doing. I don't trust that nigga Bruce Pritchard. I don't trust him. I don't. But I hope Sasha and Bayley don't lose those titles on Monday on Raw. At least, let Sasha and Bayley hold those titles past Extreme Rules. So at least they could have had the titles for a little over a month. I hope I'm wrong, because I'm really concerned that they're going to lose the titles against the Iconics next week. I hope I'm wrong, and we'll deal with that on Monday. But tonight, we had the New Day versus the Lucha House Party. This was a really fun match. It was a really good match. You know, these are, if you really think about it, other than Miz and Morrison, these are the only two teams in the SmackDown Tag Team division. And then I guess you can count Nakamura and Cesaro, because the Forgotten Sons have been taken off of TV. WWE was unhappy with Jason Riker's comments on Twitter a couple weeks back about how he was so positive on Donald Trump. And you guys know our president is always under criticism, but Riker got nailed hard on Twitter for his comments. So because of that, WWE has stopped the Forgotten Sons push. WWE was planning on having the Forgotten Sons feud with the New Day, and those plans have been at least scrapped for right now. So good job, Jason Riker. You just caused your teammates. You just cost them a chance at the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I hope you're happy with yourself. So keep praising Donald Trump on Twitter. Great job, bro. Anyway, Sasha Banks and Bayley came out to be on commentary, and they made this segment so good. Sasha and Bayley are hilarious. Of course, Corey Graves barely said anything, but Michael Cole kept trying to pressure Sasha. Bayley kept talking about how she's beating everybody, but Cole's like, "Oh, hey Sasha, the only title you haven't held in WWE is the SmackDown Women's Championship." And of course, they've been doing this for months. Sasha, not going after Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship. But if we do get Sasha and Bayley at SummerSlam, plans will change there. But Sasha and Bayley were hilarious on commentary, talking about how they're better than the New Day and better than the Lucha House Party. Like, they were just hilarious. The match was great. The Lucha House Party and the New Day have great chemistry. The high-flying moves, especially with Kofi and the House Party, great. And Sasha Banks and Bayley on commentary, even better. Give me Sasha and Bayley on commentary every single week, please. Way better than Cole or Tom Phillips or Byron Saxon's, bitch ass. But anyway, getting back into the match itself. The New Day won with the midnight ending. So, the New Day get the win here. After the match, Nakamura and Cesaro attacked the New Day, took them out. Cesaro did like the spin-a-rooney, not the spin-a-rooney. I'm forgetting what that movie does. The swing, there you go. Cesaro's swing, and Nakamura hit it with a Kinshasa at the end, which looked pretty devastating. Kofi's definitely gonna wake up with a headache tomorrow. But afterwards, Nakamura and Cesaro, they gave high fives to Sasha and Bayley. They also went to Michael Cole and said, "We're tired of being disrespected. Last week, we beat the tag team champions clean. We should be in line for a tag team title opportunity." But they got mad on Michael Cole for not saying anything. They said they were tired of the disrespect. And what made it even better was Sasha and Bayley in the background were instigating OD. Like, "Ooh, Michael Cole, what are you doing? Like, come on, Michael. You should apologize." Like, Sasha is hilarious. I can't with her. She's amazing. Definitely, one day, not now, but definitely one day when Sasha retires, she should transition into a commentary role. Like, that would be great. But here we go. So, it looks like WWE's building up Nakamura and Cesaro, which I don't mind. They are, replacing the Forgotten Sons for now. So, we'll see. Probably at Extreme Rules, we'll see the New Day versus Cesaro and Nakamura. there's really no other match you can do in the SmackDown Tag Team division because there's no other tag teams. New Day have faced everybody. And I kind of like this. It kind of develops Nakamura and Cesaro. Gives their team a little more identity, especially with Sami Zayn not there. Even though it has been reported that Sami Zayn is set to return any day now to WWE. So we'll just see where they go there. But do I see Cesaro and Nakamura taking those titles off them? I would like to. I would like to see Cesaro and Nakamura get some championship gold around their waist, especially Cesaro. It feels like forever since he last won the title. But the New Day will probably win that match. And it'll probably take place at Extreme Rules. I don't know, maybe WWE will announce that match next week, since WWE wants to do so many championship matches these days. But anyway, then we went over to backstage in another section of the Performance Center. We see Alexa Bliss, Tamina, Lacey Evans, Naomi, the garbage woman of the women's division. Well, not Naomi, but the rest I don't give a crap about. And basically they were all talking, and they were all like, they're tired of Sasha Banks and Bayley thinking they run everything. I did not care about this at all. I don't care about any of these women. They were like, we need to teach a lesson to Sasha and Bayley and let them know that we are not filler. Even though you are filler, you may be worse than filler. I don't give a crap about any of these ladies. Bliss, you're a 7-time women's champion. You've had your time, and you can't wrestle. Don't get me started on Tamina and Lacey Evans. You guys know Tamina, Lacey Evans, freaking Billie Kay, Nia Jax. They're all in a category of them. Dana Brooke as well. They're all in a category of their own. They all suck. So I don't care. They're worse than filler. They're worse than filler. Get them off my screen. They don't even deserve to be in the credits. Like, no. I didn't care about that. But, they did mention that they do need to find a new challenger for Bayley's SmackDown Women's title, but Bayley's defeated all of them, and none of us want to see freaking Bayley against any of these women. The only match I want to see is Bayley versus Sasha. That's the only match any of us want to see at this point. But anyway, they were looking for Nikki Cross, who wasn't backstage, but I knew where they were going. We come from break. Sasha and Bayley are still at commentary. And I knew it was going to happen because Sasha and Bayley were in their ring gear, especially Sasha. And Sasha was wearing that amazing black and gray gear that she wore at Backlash. But Sasha took her jacket off. They said they were ready to party. But then Nikki Cross comes out of nowhere and attacks Sasha Banks. And she also attacked Bayley. Bliss tried to get Cross to calm down, but then Cross challenged Sasha to a match. Sasha, being the heel, was like, you think you're gonna attack me and you're not, I'm just gonna have a match with you. But then Bayley accepted on Sasha's behalf. This is the 4th time that Bayley has accepted a match without Sasha's approval. So that's a common theme. It's a common theme, and it's part of that slow build-up. They did it with Sasha Banks and Tamina. They did it with Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss a couple weeks back when Sasha was in the tracksuit jacket. They did it last Monday with Bayley accepting a tag team title match with the Iconics. We'll see what happens Monday. I'm still terrified about that. And they did it again tonight. So Bayley accepting matches without Sasha's permission. Eventually, Sasha's going to get sick of it. Alright, eventually. But we get the match. The match wasn't bad. It was less than 10 minutes. It was pretty short. And, there was a couple of botches, but it was mainly because of Nikki Cross. But I did like the intensity Nikki Cross did. Sasha and Nikki Cross always had good chemistry with one another. And Sasha won the match with a Meteora straight into a pin. So Sasha gets another victory. She has been on a roll. Like I said, I don't think Sasha's ever won this many matches in a row since she first came up to the main roster. So, like I said, I'm really concerned about this Monday with the Iconics. I want Sasha and Bayley to continue holding those tag team titles, so at least past Extreme Rules if WWE is ready to pull the plug and start the Sasha and Bayley feud. If they're not, Sasha and Bayley should not be losing those tag team titles to nobody. Tag team title scene has never been this good. And one other thing, Charlotte's over here talking about how she's on all three brands and she's a workhorse. Sasha and Bayley are more of a workhorse than Charlotte ever will be. And here's the difference. We actually like it when Sasha and Bayley show up on other shows because they elevate the other women on those shows. Charlotte doesn't elevate anybody but herself. That's the difference. Anyway, good to see Sasha get another win. Concerned about Monday, we'll deal with that with the Raw review this Monday. Hopefully Sasha and Bayley retain. Alright, so for the last thing we have on the show tonight, we had the return of Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse. We haven't seen Wyatt since he lost to Braun Strowman at Money in the Bank, mainly because Bray in real life just had his child with JoJo. Congratulations to them. And Wyatt came back and he told everyone that he's been off, learning TikTok moves, knitting, and doing a bunch of other things. We also saw Ribbity Rabbit, and he also reminded Bray that you've been talking to yourself a lot since you lost to Braun Strowman. And then Wyatt was about to say something, but Strowman came out. I will say this, I do like Strowman's new entrance. He hasn't changed his entrance, but he now has like a new graphic with smoke. It kind of fits him. It fits him, even though I'm not a Strowman fan or anything. But Strowman came out and he took the mic. He told Wyatt, like, they're done. You had your chance and you lost at Money in the Bank. This story is over. You don't have any control over me. But Wyatt said, yes, our chapter may be done, but his is just beginning. And all of us thought, this was going to be the Fiend. We've all been thinking the Fiend is going to be the guy that has to get the job done for Wyatt to get back the Universal title. But instead, in a change of events, we see the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's previous persona come back. He got the Hawaiian shirt, the black hat, he got the lamp, and he's back. He's like, hey, Braun, I'm the one that created you. Now I'll be the one that destroys you. And then he blows into the lamp and says, run. It was really good to see Bray Wyatt back. I love that character, the Eater of Worlds. He also said his follow the buzzards catchphrase, which I love. But I love how WWE is changing it up, not making it predictable. This definitely had to be Bray's idea, and I like it. It's adding another layer to the story. I didn't really mind what they did at Backlash, Money in the Bank. I thought we all thought it was gonna be the Fiend that comes, but I feel like I know what WWE's gonna be, what they're gonna do here. I also will say this: Bray Wyatt is the only superstar that could pull something like this off. Be able to go from one gimmick to another. The fact that he has his current gimmick with Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, and The Fiend, he's the only guy that can go back to his previous gimmick, Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, and make it work. I love this. I really did. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, challenge Strowman at Extreme Rules. And remember, one thing that was always a problem with the Eater of Worlds gimmick is he would do so well with promos and they would build him up and then he would lose in almost every feud. Like the Randy Orton or John Cena or Roman Reigns. Didn't matter. I'm afraid that's what they're going to do here. And the plan is, since you have nobody else, Roman's not coming back. I don't think Jeff Hardy's going to be ready. They're not going to do Daniel Bryan again. What I think is going to happen is they're going to have OG Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt lose at Extreme Rules. And then finally at SummerSlam, The Fiend is going to be the one to take Strowman down for good. Since you have really no other programs or nobody else built up for a world title shot. So I feel like they're just going to continue this throughout the rest of the summer. So we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm definitely interested to see where they go with this. It was really good seeing the Eater of Worlds back tonight. I'm not really interested in the match, but more of the story here. I really like what they're doing here with Bray Wyatt, man. Really love how they're letting him bring these other personas. Because definitely, I don't see WWE creative being the guys to write this. This has to be Bray Wyatt himself coming up with these ideas. And these ideas are fantastic. I love Bray Wyatt. But we'll see where this goes. And we'll see if either of World's Bray Wyatt will be the guy to take Strowman down. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today on the podcast. Thank you guys for joining me once again. It's been a long week. Gonna take a couple days off and, refuel myself for Monday Night Raw's review, because I'm scared for Raw, man. Scared for Raw. We have Asuka versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's title, and Sasha Banks versus Bayley versus the Iconics. So I'm scared. I'm scared, man. I don't want to see Sasha and Bayley lose to the Iconics. That's the big thing. If Sasha and Bayley retain, I'll be able to sleep at night. But if they lose, and then Asuka loses to Charlotte, I'm not gonna feel good. But we'll see. Other than that, guys, thank you guys for joining me on the podcast today. Thank you guys for the love and support. Once again, if you guys are listening on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Google, it doesn't matter. Thank you guys. You guys keep me going. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Also, follow me on social media. The link is in the description down below. At GLauren33 on Twitter, GLORIN33. I'll see you guys later, man. Stay safe and healthy. Peace.